So it's a perfect environment for a great World Cup. We're the favorites. The underdogs, the slight underdogs, are hosting the event. So it's going to be less than 3 weeks away to the Women's World Cup, which is going to be incredible. We have so many dynasties going on in sports right now. New England, Alabama's got slightly disrupted. They're favorites again this year. We have the Golden State Warriors. Our United States women's national team is kind of a dynasty. UConn women's basketball, slight disruption, but still top 2 or 3. It's just so funny to me in sports. What all these organizations and leagues are trying to do is not have too many dynasties, right? The best team gets the worst draft pick, free agent restrictions. Yeah, I mean, all salary caps are, if you think about it, a salary cap is, we don't want a big city having way too much money and dominating. But it's fascinating to me that the big cities in America often have the most dysfunctional teams. The Jets and the Giants and the Mets and the Lakers, and it's like, money doesn't guarantee anything. More money, more problems. I mean, you start looking at all these sports teams, and in my life, there's never been more dynasties, which is what the NCAA doesn't want, which the NFL's basically built for parity. They want everybody to go 8-8, 7-9, 9-7. And New England's burst through it, and Alabama's somehow figured out how to burst through it, and Golden State's burst through it, and it's unbelievable. And the United States women's national team, again, the world, women now are playing soccer everywhere, and we're still number one. I mean, I don't know how to explain it. It's the one thing I observe sports and try to have theories and belief systems. I can't figure it out. I think maybe it's part of the early adapter that if you adapt early to analytics, you get a head start on people.
Well, adapt early and continue to evolve.
That's as good an answer as anybody, because I've never in my life seen more dominant teams in an era where commissioners, leagues, the NCAA
are trying to keep you from doing that.
Yeah, they're trying to squish you together. Joy with the news.
No.
Turn on the news. This is the Herd Line News.
So, Steph Curry and the Warriors took down his brother, Seth, and the Blazers, as expected, a little sooner than we...
Yes.
I don't know if expected is the word, but sooner than we hoped. I would have preferred more basketball, but the Warriors are returning to the finals, and Seth is going home. Steph feels his brother made a statement during the series, and after the game, Steph shared his message for his brother, Seth.
I mean, somebody had to lose, but this is just the beginning for him and his career in terms of being in this stage. And he's proved to a lot of people that not only does he belong, he can play big minutes in a playoff game. So we'll remember this for the rest of our lives, and for our family and all, back at home watching. Like this is what it's all about for sure.
Hey, Seth Curry in this league right now, a lot of teams would take Seth Curry. Lakers would take Seth Curry in a minute. A guy who can hit threes.
Yeah, and I think he made a statement particularly this series. I mean, he was undrafted out of college. He barely played in his first 3 seasons in the league. He spent a season out of the league and signed with Portland, which Portland, despite the fact that they got swept by the Warriors, which I obviously, as I said, we would have preferred more basketball. Damian Lillard was clearly hurt. They're just a better team. Like I don't know that I don't look at this series in general as a knock on the Blazers.
No,
at all. It's just they're just a better team. They just have more talent. And Damian Lillard and CJ McCollum were incredible this entire playoff run. They're a great team. They're going to be back in the playoffs next year. And Seth Curry was a important part of the series, despite the fact that it was a sweep.
Listen, Seth Curry can shoot a 3. Bottom line in this league, LeBron doesn't have a single guy on his roster that can shoot threes like, not Steph, Seth Curry. So I actually thought for Portland, did you really think they'd go to the Western Conference Finals before the season? I think it was a great year for Portland.
Yeah, it was a great year for Portland. Obviously, everyone wants to win a championship. That's the goal.
Yeah.
So, they're not trying to hear that right now. But I wouldn't be unhappy with it. It's not it didn't feel as dramatic as a sweep as sweeps that they've had in the past and that other teams have had.
Competitive games.
Right, in the postseason run. So there's been some conflicting reports about Magic's resignation and GM Rob Pelinka's reputation around the league. And at Frank Vogel's press conference yesterday, Pelinka responded to Magic's comments from early in the day about what was going on behind the scenes with the Lakers.
I think the most important thing for me is the 2 years of getting to work side by side with Irvin are some of the greatest memories I have. And truly it's saddening and disheartening to think he believes things are a misperception. But I look forward to the opportunity to talk with him and sit down with him and work through them, just like in any relationship, because they're just simply not true.
Yeah, boy. Frankly, I don't know what's true. I do think I understand Magic protecting his brand. I do. Because, like, for a month, we were all like, that guy doesn't know what he's doing. But in the big picture, by the way, so Magic said on ESPN, our Lakers. So is he still in the building? Is he still like
Well,
making...
I mean, Magic's always going to be a part of the Lakers, whether people are angry at him in that building or not. They don't have a choice. That's Magic Johnson. It just doesn't matter. When you think of the Lakers, you think of Magic Johnson, you think of Kobe Bryant, you think of Kareem. That's inevitable. That can't be changed. So he's always going to be an our guy, a we guy, even if he isn't involved in what's going on inside the building. I don't think anybody had a problem with what Magic did yesterday. Magic didn't have a choice. Magic's getting all this, was getting all this negative press, and he's not a hard worker. And did everyone forget what kind of businessman Magic is? Nobody is expecting Magic to be in the office getting copies. That's not the kind of businessman Magic is. Magic put in his work in the NBA and was smart with his money and made the right connections, just like most people who come into money do. And that's how you make more money, by having connections. That's what he did. What Magic brings to the table is something that you can't put a dollar sign on, and that is Magic's personality and the ability to go in a room, light it up like everyone says that he does, and bring people together and elevate the situation. You can't pay for that kind of talent or energy. And Magic's getting put in a situation where he looks like he's causing all this dysfunction. He had no choice but to come out. But anytime you have two different stories on opposite spectrums, where somebody's saying someone was backstabbing and the other person's saying that this is simply not true, there's got to be somewhere in the middle. And that's the problem with the Lakers. Everybody is putting out their particular angle on it. There's no voice. Yeah. Finally, much has been made about instant replay in the NFL this offseason, and Pete Carroll believes that taking it out of football altogether will actually improve the sport. He told Peter King, get rid of or at least decrease the use of instant replay. I get all the reasons why we have instant replay, and technology has opened up a new world for us to get to this point. But I miss the human element of trusting the officials to make the calls in the moment, and the rest of us having to live with what they called. It was both fun and frustrating. This is not happening, Pete. Not ever. That ship has sailed. Everyone has a smartphone now and an immediate camera and a thing called social media. People will lose their collective minds if you get rid of instant replay and you have trusting the human element as the answer. There's too many cameras now. There's too many angles. There's no reason to get rid of instant replay. And nobody's ever going to be happy with the system, no matter what way you do it.
Everybody's always... it was funny. I read the article. So Peter King went to like 20 people, all sorts of different people, and said, what change would you make to the NFL? And that was the impetus for this article. The one I agreed with was Rich Eisen, which I think is incredible. There's a rule in the NFL that I do not get, that if you fumble at the 1-inch line, you lose possession. If you fumble out of the end zone, you lose possession.
I'm with that rule. That's got to go.
That to me, and it happens like twice a year in a big spot, and you're like...
And you forget that it's a rule, and you're like, how did that happen?
Like I get going back to the 20. I lose possession because of years ago, the Raiders, without it being accidental, they purposefully fumbled the ball ahead, and that was kind of the impetus to, all right, teams can no longer fumble the ball ahead. But I actually agreed with Rich. That rule is a disaster. It's the worst rule.
It is. I forgot about that rule until you just said it.
Every year about once, you and I will complain. We're like, that doesn't even make sense.
Yeah, that's got to go.
Yeah.
Replay can stay, though.
Yeah.
Well, that's the news.
And thanks for stopping by.
The Herd Line News.
By the way, Chris Long, we know Belichick's smart, right? We all get it. Chris Long, Virginia, great player, son of Howie Long, came out yesterday. He just retired. And he had a quote. He said, in New England, I learned so much about football. I mean, I always thought I was a smart player. You know, Dad played in the NFL, even though I never thought about anything but the 6 inches in front of my face. And in New England, I was forced to learn so many schematic concepts in my playing career of football. Nobody asked me to do as much as Belichick did. Might be a 3 technique, a linebacker, dropping into coverage more than ever, or playing inside more than ever. I always remember how much I learned watching Bill in practice. He can coach any position as good as any position coach in the league. He can walk around the field, stop drills, coach each position at the highest level. By the way, the trend in the NFL, get the young coach, Matt LaFleur in Green Bay, and Cliff Kingsbury in Arizona, and Freddie Kitchens in Cleveland, and Zach Efron or something in Cincinnati. Zach Taylor, I know. You do get that age equals experience, and no prep school can teach experience. This is one of these compounding interest things. Best offensive line coach in the NFL, New England, 70s. Best coach, Belichick, 60s. Offensive coordinator in his 10th year. Older. I know we all want to find the hipster, but who was the best coach in the Super Bowl beyond Bill Belichick? 70-year-old Wade Phillips. Chris Long's a really smart kid, just finished his career, and tells you everything you need to know about New England. Not lit, not dope, not cool, not new, not fresh. Old, smart, experienced. Oh, yeah, they've got Tom Brady. Jeff Schwartz around the corner. It's The Herd.